Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Last Kingdom Season 4 finale reaction. And we're going to talk about the whole season while we're at it. If you haven't seen the whole season yet, build a shield wall and get out of here and come back once you have finished. I really just want to yell shield wall in
And
this
he
video.
has been.
I am trying to find as many practical applications for things that they yell in the Last Kingdom. Nothing is more satisfying to me.
Then yelling shield wall when I close the curtains in the living room, which just happened.
You know, you gotta be protected.
Yeah.
That applies for a lot of things. But anyway, we're gonna talk in this video about the events of the finale, big moments throughout the season. I like this season a lot. I think this season was crazy, dramatic, kind of funny at times, but also it had a lot of chaotic energy, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a little bit different for me. I really enjoyed the first half of the season, and then the second half of the season had moments I enjoyed, but they felt kind of a little bit almost like there was a bit of a split in the middle.
There's one thing I don't like about the final stretch of them, but I'm sure we will get into all of that. Before we do dive in, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. So I think first, big picture, this is the season of death. This is the season where the Last Kingdom is sort of like, you know what? We're gonna pretty much say screw it. Nobody other than Uhtred, son of Uhtred, is safe. Everyone else is gonna be thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, we lost Athelred, which I don't think anyone was gonna shed any tears
Nah,
over that.
get him out of here.
You know, we lost Canute, but no one was really gonna shed any tears about him either. But still, really big characters to lose. And then we lost Bianca, and that was the absolute worst. And we lost him so early on, and this is kind of what I mean about it feeling almost like the first half of this season, we had these really big storylines that were kind of folding over from last season, and, you know, characters that we've been following since, you know, the beginning for some, or more recently last season. And then they were all kind of gone. And then we went into the second half of the season where we were being introduced to new people like Sig Trigger, who I kind of wish was around a bit more. He was an interesting character for the short time that we had, but as him kind of being that last big bad, he was only really in like a handful of episodes.
The funniest thing about Sig Trigger to me is it's sort of you go through the final few episodes as him as this imposing threat, and then the end message is, oh, I guess he's not really that bad after all.
Yeah, it was okay. Is this guy gonna be, you know, really horrible? As soon as they mentioned Ivor the Boneless, I'm like, oh no.
This isn't good.
This is going to be so bad. This guy's going to be so bad. Yeah, and the end message is, we can negotiate. And I was just kind of like, all right, sure, that's the message. All right, that's the message. And so for me, it was okay. That ending was okay. We've seen, though, this idea where Uhtred's daughter was going to be part of the negotiation, and she was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to go with my captor kind of thing. We've already seen this before, a couple seasons ago, with Athelflaed and Eric, where she fell for her captor, and we all know how that ended. So here we are again, kind of bringing in that same story again.
Stockholm Syndrome, the official thing that happens on the Last Kingdom time and time again.
Yeah.
Stuart, she was really down for this Sig Trigger thing, and I gotta be honest, I think Sig Trigger kind of looks like Weird Al Yankovic. I don't think I can, I don't know if I would have gotten on board the Sig Trigger manse, if you will. But, you know, whatever floats your boat, I guess. It's the Last Kingdom. There's probably not a lot of genuinely nice people around.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. This is why I wish there was a bit more time with him. That I kind of thought when we saw everything going on in Berg, and I mean, we're talking about like the beginning of the season now. Uhtred has been wanting to take back his namesake, this whole, where, you know, this fortress, and he needs his lands back, and this has been sort of part of the entire thread of the show. And then he went there and he lost, and then we're just never really talking about it again. And I was really surprised that it happened so early, because then I was like, all right, this is it. This is the big moment we've all been waiting for. He's going to go to Berg. He's going to win or lose. We're going to go back there again, because if he loses, he's going to go back again, right?
Right.
And then that never happened. So I kind of feel he went through all this stuff over all the years to have Berg, and then just...
Here's what I guess I would compare it to. You know, we watch a lot of crime shows. We do a lot of those videos, and there's always this show. Monk is a good example of just there's always that one case they can't solve. What happened to the late wife, or insert other character that drives the main detective. And then you'll sort of have like that episode at the start of like season 3 or season 4 where they get a new clue and they get closer to solving that case, but you know they're not going to resolve it to the series finale. So then they magically forget about it for the rest of the season. That is Berg at this point. You go there and it's like, all right, moving on.
Yeah, and the thing that they did there is sort of the same thing that they did with Sig Trigger, where they brought in somebody, you know, the whole thing was Uhtred and his uncle, and here we go, and it's happening, and then the uncle gets killed, and now it's like, oh, and here's the uncle's son that's been here for a minute, who's driven him out, and then we just never really visit this again. In my heart, I'm just gonna go with the idea that Uhtred has let it go, that we lost Bianca there, and because of that, and he was not really able to retrieve his body, and the grief that came along with losing him, that he just doesn't want to deal with that anymore.
Hot take. Does Berg suck? Like, let's just think about this for a minute. These are people who decided they would want to go and hang out with Elfric's son, who seems just like a tool, over Uhtred, who is charismatic and cool, and he's got cool hair, and he seems like he's commanding. I don't know if you really want to be back at this place, Uhtred, if we're being totally honest. I mean, remember earlier on in the season, you had Uhtred, son of Uhtred, show up there, and he was just like, I can't wait to see the great, wonderful sights that I have heard about all this time. And I was sitting here thinking, you know, no offense, Elfric, but it's not that great. I would rather be at Winchester, being totally honest here.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that this was going to play out a little bit longer than this for all the buildup that we had over the seasons. But... so that happened. We lost, you know, a very important character.
Yeah, that was really sad.
And that was really tough. And then we finally had some revenge for what Canute did to Ragnar, and Breda got her revenge on that, and that was taken care of. It just felt like the first half of the season, I was like, oh man, it was like pop, 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 pop. And then like the second half of the season, it was kind of like, you know, when you're playing a game and you get an escort quest where you just have to take somebody somewhere, and you're kind of like, man, why is this happening? Like the last BioShock, for all of you who played that, where it was just one big long escort quest. That's what this kind of felt like, that people were like, oh, and now get this person here, and now we need to get this person over here. And then finally, then we're introduced to Sig Trigger, and I was like, oh, this guy's really interesting. And then I kind of looked at it, and I was like, oh man, we only have like one episode here.
That is my big problem with the second part of this season, is that I don't feel like we got really enough of the enemy perspective. We heard a lot about it, but we didn't actually see a lot of the strategic side. We saw some really cool battles. I mean, there was a really awesome battle in the finale, but I don't think we got enough of what drives that particular part of what is going on. Instead, we got a lot of, okay, here's this character moving from this place, here's this character, is Uhtred going to become ruler? Oh no, not so much. Instead, now it is Athelflaed who's going to become the ruler, and you know, good on you, Athelflaed, also, by the way, for taking out some like incredible idiocy at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see that she was going to be on the throne of Mercia. She is the right person, and I think we all kind of saw it coming. Edward was getting a little weird about it. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you want to unite the kingdoms, like keep it all in the family, but maybe it's just probably just a bit of intimidation and feeling, oh, my sister has to come bail me out kind of thing. So there was that.
This is an aside, but how is Heston still alive?
Oh, he's such a little weasel.
Yeah, him and Canute deserve each other. Why couldn't both get rid of both of these guys at the same time?
No, I love Heston.
What? Heston? No, I'm out on Heston.
He is such a weasel. This show needs somebody like him.
This show, we need Heston like Canute needed a grave. Like, let's just put it that way. Okay, I will say it. Canute can be like this show's version of, it's not exactly the same, but it's sort of like, I loathe Joffrey, but at the same time, it was very satisfying to just watch Joffrey be incredibly irritating for a long period of time.
And that is how I feel about Heston. He is just this little weaselly guy that is always finding a way to kind of get a little bit of what he wants and then also a little bit of not. I just like that he is that thorn in Uhtred's side and he's always kind of there. He's just a constant.
Can someone punt him off the edge of a cliff in the series finale and keep Heston for a while? But if we're going to be stuck with him, I need like the greatest death scene imaginable. It needs to be 1,000 times greater than any of the death scene. Because the only death scene that really affected me was Bianca, and that just made me sad.
Yeah, that
especially
was sad.
because we had like that full episode of just Uhtred being emo after the fact, which I totally get. But
okay, so now we gotta talk about Breda, because she had a huge season.
Yeah.
We saw her get her revenge for Ragnar getting killed by Canute. We saw that she was actually able to have children. She got pregnant, so that was a cool thing that even she was surprised by.
yeah.
And then we saw something very interesting. She got captured. We saw that she begged Uhtred to kill her. He did not. And she knew she was going to be sent away to become, what happened to her. And he had already been in this spot where he had been sold for, I think it was like 2 years, where he was in this exact same spot. And it broke him. Like, he was so broken by the end of that I just didn't know. I understand that they have a history, but knowing what he went through, I was really surprised he didn't give her that mercy.
It's an interesting debate, right? Because I do think the scene between Breda and Uhtred was the best scene in the finale, and their story, their relationship is really fantastic. But I also think the struggle here is Uhtred trying to think out the long game of, while those years almost broke him, he did eventually emerge from it, and is he thinking, okay, eventually Breda can emerge from this, and I don't want to take whatever her future is going to be because of what's going to be happening in her near future. Is he just not able to do it because of who she is? Is there sort of a code in his mind of things he will not do, people he will not kill? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm sure that must be what went through his head, that he just couldn't bring himself to do it. But there was a moment that I really thought he was going to give her that mercy, because he knows what it's like to have been in that exact same position, and it just destroyed him. He was wrecked. So to have that love for her, I really thought he was going to. I'm glad that he didn't, and glad that she was still around in the end, even though she did stab him, but, he kind of deserved it.
Well, the other thing that is bad here for Uhtred is now she is also basically being like, I am also going to bring up my baby to hate all Saxons, and is also going to try to eventually murder you. So there's that. That's not great for Uhtred moving forward.
No, it's not. I mean, it's possible that he could put himself into a position where their paths don't cross again. Probably not, but it's possible. There are ways to avoid this. It's a big world.
It's a very big world. I think we're reminded a lot of that at the end of this, which is kind of a sad ending. As I found the finale very entertaining, but it is a sad ending for Uhtred in a lot of ways, where it is sort of like, okay, your daughter Stiora's off here with Weird Al Yankovic. They're going to be doing some stuff. And by the way, Uhtred, son of Uhtred, he's going off and he's going to be away from you now as well.
Yep.
Now you're just going to be in charge of taking care of Athelstan and trying to train him, but you're kind of separate from everyone else. Congrats, Uhtred, you're alive, so there's that.
Yeah, it wasn't a very satisfying ending when you think about where he started this season with that idea where he was like, oh man, this is it. This is how I'm going to take Berg, and everything's going to be like amazing, and I'm going to have it back for me, my son, my family, like we're here. And then this is the ending. Oh, you're going to take care of Athelstan, and away you go, and we'll see you whenever.
Yeah, that's not the best. I mean, I guess they must think they're getting a season 5, and they must be hoping
really
for that.
hope so.
Yeah, I'm especially. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to talk about Elsbeth, but if you have something more...
I was going to say the same thing. We need to know what's
Yes.
going to happen with her. I mean, we know that she basically put her own foot in her mouth by suggesting these poison flowers, and now she's getting poisoned herself. They don't know what's wrong with her, so I don't know, man. We need another season.
This was a real roller coaster for Elsbeth this season, because it kind of started in the... Nobody's listening to me, and she was so upset about that, and it was like she started to get her groove, she started to figure some stuff out, she's mixing it up, and then you have flown too close to the sun, Elsbeth, and now you potentially could be dying, and I don't want that, because I find Elsbeth to be very entertaining in the small amount of screen time that she kind of gets.
Yeah, I found that whole conversation, especially about the poison flowers, really entertaining, where they were kind of like, why would you plant this here? Like, I don't understand. There's children running around here. Why would you put this in the courtyard? You never know. What?
Yeah. One other thing I should say. Finan and Edith. Do we like this? Do we dislike this? I'm not entirely sure.
I'm indifferent. I mean, yeah, it's all right.
I don't know. It's sort of like, this is really random that we're kind of moving in this direction, but
yeah, I mean, I'm just not invested enough in her, I guess, to care either way.
They really, I think, tried for a little while to get me into the Erdwulf and Edith and what's going on with the two of them. Here's how much we cared about Erdwulf, by the way. We are so close to the end of this video, and this is the first time we're bringing him up. Even though his demise was apparently one of the more notable moments of the season.
Yeah.
You are not Biyaka. You do not get minutes of substantial time and discussion in here. But I did really like this season. I think the first half of it is stronger than the second half. But
agreed.
I do think there was some fun stuff. And the battles were really, really good.
The battles were great. Yep.
Give me anything of Uhtred and Breda, and I'm always going to be on board for that. Please kill Heston. Okay, no.
I think eventually Heston's going to get his, and it's going to be satisfying. I don't need him to go off and be a weasel forever, but if there's going to be another season, I need him to come back and be a weasel.
Yeah, maybe the Joffrey comparison was bad. Maybe he's Littlefinger, and Littlefinger did have a pretty satisfying death. I guess spoiler alert for people who are years behind on Game of Thrones, but
Yep.
Anyway... What did you guys think about The Last Kingdom Season 4, the finale? Where do you want it to go next? Let us know in the comments, and if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.